Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's City Council meeting. We're certainly pleased to have everybody here. It is Tuesday, May 20th, and we'll start our meeting with a roll call of your City Council.
Council members Anderson Jr.
Here.
Erickson. Erpenbach.
Here.
Jameson.
Here.
Karski.
Here.
Kiley.
Here.
Rolfing.
Here.
Staggers.
Present.
Very good. And just special notice, of course, we have two new City Councilors joining us tonight. They just said they're first here. It's great to have you here, Councilor Kiley, and certainly Councilor Erickson. Welcome to the team. In Sioux Falls, we start our meetings with the City Council with an invocation. And tonight we're very, very blessed to have Pastor Fred Wilgenberg of the Center of Hope here in Sioux Falls. Pastor, welcome. Pastor Fred will lead us in prayer. And what we'd ask you to do is to stand and remain standing for our Pledge of Allegiance after Pastor Fred is done. Pastor, welcome.
Thank you. My privilege. Let us pray together. Our great God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, we praise and thank you for many blessings upon Sioux Falls. At the same time, we lift up to you each and every person of Sioux Falls and within the region, every person whom you know and whom you care deeply about. We lift them up to you and ask that you would bless them in the ways that they need. We especially lift up to you all our law enforcement and fire and rescue people, that you would keep them safe, that you'd give them strength and encourage in their very important line of duty. We ask you to a special blessing upon all of the city employees, that you would give them safety as they're doing a lot of road work and just different things. Give them wisdom on how best to carry out the functions of the city. We ask for a special blessing upon all of our city government and the leaders, that they can make decisions that would have your blessing, that would be according to your will. Our God, we also humbly realize our need for your grace. We're just human. We make mistakes sometimes. Just please help us to humbly realize that and continually seek and receive your counsel, that we can have just a very bright present year and future for many years to come and for the many generations to come, that they can be blessed by our efforts, by our acknowledgement of you and your counsel. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We will now move on to our consent agenda. Are there any motions or changes to tonight's consent agenda?
Move to approve, Karski.
Second, Erpenbach.
Councilor Karski has made a motion to approve our consent agenda, seconded by Councilor Erpenbach. Councilor Staggers.
Yes, I just have a few items here. The first item I have is in regard to the street department agreement for engineering services, $330,158. And then second one is the street department. This is for an appraisal of 10 acres of land for $65,000. And then transit, these are signs for $34,471. And then lastly, from the fleet department, a mail courier van at $24,133.
Councilor Staggers, thank you. We will move those items and discuss them later on in today's meeting. Any other changes or motions? Very good. Could we have a roll call vote, please, on the remaining items?
Council members Anderson.
Yes.
Erickson. Yes. Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Kiley.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Thank you. That is passed 8-0. We'll now move on to our regular agenda. Council, any changes or motions?
Move for approval, Anderson.
Second, Rolfing.
Councilor Anderson Jr. has made a motion to move forward our regular agenda, seconded by Councilor Rolfing. If there is no discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Council members Anderson.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Kiley.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Thank you. That has passed 8-0. I did want to recognize we have some special guests in the audience tonight. We've got Boy Scout Troop number 48. They are sponsored by the Sertoma Club, and they're working on their communication badge tonight. Would you folks with Troop 48, would you mind standing along with your leaders? Thank you. Well, thanks for joining us tonight. We do appreciate it. And this is the public input portion of our meeting. We'd like to welcome, of course, all of you to our meeting. And this is an opportunity for you to engage the council on any topic involving your city. All we'd ask is that you just come forward, introduce yourself to the people of our town, and if you could limit your comments to 5 minutes or less, the council would appreciate it. Welcome.
Scott Harrisman, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. First off, I just wanted to say I would like to welcome the two new counselors, Mr. Kiley and Mrs. Erickson. I've been watching these council meetings for about 12 years. It's always fun. It's kind of entertainment for me. Anyway, I'm here to talk about something else that's been in the news lately, but it's been around for a long time. It's the railroad relocation project, and I even brought a little prop here along of the way the train has been moving on this. Well, the train actually started moving during the Munson's first term. It's quite a long time ago. And he had the momentum to get this money to get the train moving. And it was going along so well that when Mayor Munson was running for his second term, that train was really moving, and he convinced Tim Johnson to get in a TV commercial with him to talk about this train, and this train is rolling, and we're going to get these tracks out of here. Okay, well then we have Mayor Heath here comes, and the train's still moving along here, kind of, sort of. It's kind of wiggling along. And then we start talking about the event center, and then there was this little group that got a Facebook page called Build It Downtown, and they were talking about this train and moving the train tracks and building the event center downtown, and then the train just kind of went off the tracks. And it disappeared, went into a pocket somewhere. So now all of a sudden, the railroad relocation project is so important to get done. Somehow the train, he came back out of his depot. Here he comes again. He's coming along. He lost some wheels here, I guess. And now we need to get him going here again. Because, you know, when we were going to build the event center over at the arena, we couldn't have this train causing problems. But now all of a sudden that there's some developers in town that are going to make a buck off this land, all of a sudden the railroad relocation project is very important to all of us. Now, I'm not opposed to moving that, getting that space and using it for development, not at all. I actually believe the city should be involved, the federal government should be involved in cleaning up the site and doing the appraisals and doing like that. But this thing where all of a sudden the taxpayers of Sioux Falls and the federal taxpayers, who don't even live in our state, are now becoming brokers and in land deals, and we're building a hotel out at the golf course, and I just don't understand why the citizens of Sioux Falls have to be using our money so that other private developers can make money. Will it be great when this land is freed up for development? Sure. Will it benefit the normal taxpayer or the federal taxpayer in any way, shape, or form? I don't know, not really. I just found it kind of funny that all of a sudden this project was so important, and then it wasn't important when it was going to mess with the event center, but then it came back out of, it's the ghost of the train, I guess. But I still have some time here, so I noticed that there was going to be some council elections tonight, and I would recommend that the council elect Kenny Anderson as the vice chair and Christine Erickson to the operations committee. I think that would be some good choices there. And my last thing. In the last council meeting, and I've seen this happen several times, it was Councilor Staggers was cut off during a very important discussion. We were going to be spending $20 million of taxpayer money on an indoor pool. 11 million of it, which should have went to infrastructure projects, debt repayment on a levy bond. I thought it was a very important discussion, and for him to be cut off like that was unnecessary. You guys are all peers up here. You're all counselors, including the mayor. You're all equals during these meetings. And I don't think anyone should be treated that way anymore, and no one should be cut off, as long as the discussion is important. And I felt the discussion was very important. There's always this thing where people say to me, they go, don't you think the council kind of has their mind made up before they vote, and the public testimony doesn't matter? And I said, yeah. And that night was total proof of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hirschman. If you would like any of the facts in regards to the rail yard relocation, I'd encourage you to meet with either Mark Cotter or Josh Peterson, and they can relay those facts to you. Welcome.
Tim Stanga. Last week was a great week. Like I said, just like the city council didn't see the people out here and couldn't listen to them, they can't, they had their little meeting with nobody sitting in the room, but the meeting was full. The only thing that I could have did was tell these people that you're wasting your time. What you should do is go single file and just walk out the door and forget about public testimony. Because I've been doing this, again, for 6 or 7 years, coming in here speaking. I'm hoping that Mr. Kelly, Ms. Erickson, realizes what really happens in this city council. Games are played, and people come in and testify. They put their hearts out to the city council. And not a single one of them were heard. Not a single one of them were even heard. So they could have just as well left. They wasted their time. And why do people come in here and do any testimony? Because I'm the type of person that I am sick and tired of watching what goes on up here. When he says that, well, people ask, well, does the city council already have their mind made up? You're darn right they do. They go out for coffee a week before and they've already got their minds made up. When they come in, it's a done deal. You can give me all the faces you want, but that's what happens. Straight out. Because they were trying to delay the vote for the new people to come in, and what did you do? You put your foot down because you wanted the other two in here to vote. Straight out. And when the mayor comes up and says, oh, God, good discussion. Oh, great questions and all that stuff. That's a phony. It's phony. Because why? Because he knows how the vote is already going to be. Until we change how city council is being done, until we realize that there are public people out here that go out and take signatures, they go out and put their heart out on trying to do something for their neighborhood, and then the city council just, oh, that's all right. We'll just go ahead and vote, and we don't care. Do you have to explain your votes? Why is it that you guys don't have to explain your votes? When you vote yes or you vote no, why don't you explain to the public that's out here, why am I voting yes? Am I voting from my heart, or am I voting for somebody that has given me money to either be elected, or am I being poked and prodded by the other side to get this done? I think we got to really look at things. We got to look right in here, and we got to figure out who we're really here for. I can remember that 11.5 million, and I can express that when the mayor was on a Friday morning show on the radio, a person asked you, what should we do with that money? And that person said that we should put it in an account so we can draw some interest, so that way when we can pay back bonds, then we can pay back bonds, old bonds. A lot of public people thought that that's what that money should go towards. But again, we got to spend money on an indoor swimming pool that is probably going to put a few of them out of business, like the Y, and there's other people that do swimming. They give swimming lessons. They make money off from that. But yet we're going to get stuck with a facility that has a seating of 500 people. So who are we really building this facility for? Thank you. You can look at the clock all you want.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who wanted to engage the council? Welcome.
My name is Charles Santee from Sioux Falls, and I'd like to comment about SiouxAreaMetro.org, which is supposed to be supposed to represent the local bus system. There are detours listed on the site that are out of date or incorrect. If you look at the specific fixed route information, they have nice maps, but there is no stops indicated on the maps. If you look at the PDF that claims it has the stops, it doesn't, and it's at least one route, maybe two route changes ago, which is totally out of date. The website should either be updated in a reasonable manner and contain reasonable information, or it should be dropped so people don't look at it and think they're going to get some useful data. And I noticed that there were slabs put in at bus stop so the city would comply with ADA data, requirements. But I have noticed over the last winter that those ADA requirements are only complied with during the summer, not when it snows, because none of them were shoveled that I could see. In fact, there was a lot more put in than I realized, because it was done just before the first snow and they never got shoveled. Oh, on that same topic, why do the parking ramps in town groom their driveways very nicely after a snowfall, but refuse to clear out the crud in front of the curb cuts? And I'd also like to mention that, as far as I can tell, the city only enforces sidewalk ordinances for homeowners. If it's a sidewalk belongs to a business, the city, they're not fixed even if after complaints are made. And that's all I've got.
Ms. Santee, well, thank you very much. Appreciate it. And thanks for bringing that to our attention about the website. We'll certainly check that out right away tomorrow. Thank you. Is there anybody else who wanted to engage the council? Welcome.
Teresa Staley, Sioux Falls. I want to say congratulations to everyone who was reelected and elected for the first time. And in our community in the last year and a half, we have seen so much activity by citizens with these petition drives. Personally, I helped with the snow gates. It was fabulous. I appreciate that you've passed the money, the expenditures to buy these things. You probably know this. It's a fabulous thing for our community, and I know some of you were kind of against this, but it was great. I was so happy to help this. And Mayor Huther, I appreciate that you were also supportive of this. I don't know about the vote, but snow gates in general. And I guess what I want to say to all of you and to us as citizens is that we need to work in this community to care about each other. We can't be arrogant in a position. I've seen council members come and go. Dave Munson, come and go. He's a very nice man. But you're in a power position right now. You have the opportunity to do wonderful things for all the people. Please listen. Be responsive. You may not agree, but you have to see all sides of things. And I've learned enough about who's pulling the strings in our community to know that it's not always the average citizen. And so I just beseech you to be open to this. Let's create a community that really cares about everybody. And I know that there is movement to do that. But I think it takes an effort to stay connected. God bless you all.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else who wanted to engage the council tonight? Well, thank you very much for being here. We appreciate that. And now we'll move on to item 15. Or no, first let's move on to Councilor Stager's topics. The first one is
The 300.
Emerald Acres Drainage Channel Improvements. It's an amendment to an agreement for engineering services with our street department.
Yeah.
Mark? Yes. Councilor Staggers?
Yeah, Mark. I guess I'm just wondering, $330,000 for engineering services. Is that correct? Or is there some other construction involved in that?
No construction. This is our flagship project for 2015. Similar to 41st Street this year, that we're upgrading that section road to a modern urban road. This is about 1.5 miles long. It's a significant amount of detail, and this will take us through final design for this project. And so, just like 41st Street, this will be a little bit larger project. 41st Street this last year was about an $8.5 million project. There's a lot of detail work. There's hundreds of sheets of plans that need to be developed by the engineering teams. So this is a local firm, HDR Engineering, that we've contracted with.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Council?
Move approval, Rolfing. Second, Karski.
Councilor Rolfing's made a motion to approve this item, seconded by Councilor Karski. If there's no further discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Council members Anderson. Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
That is passed 8-0. The next item is a rail pin relocation plan, agreement for appraisal services. Mark?
Yes, this is an appraisal contract. One of the factors to qualify that purchase for federal funding, you have to go through the Uniform Act of 1970. That requires 2 expert appraisers. The first does the first appraisal, and we've already contracted with Hosh and Associates out of Minneapolis to do that work, and we're progressing well through that. And then this will be Hall Wittis out of Spearfish for $65,000. They will do the review appraisal. They'll actually review the first independent appraisal's work to make sure it's in conformance with that federal act, and then ultimately we'll know that we've met those federal guidelines from an appraisal standpoint. So one of the comments that came from the lead of the Federal Highway Administration in Pierre said this will likely be one of the most technical appraisals that we'll go through, and that's why you're seeing these contract amounts as they are.
Yeah, I guess that I'm still surprised. It's $65,000 for an appraisal of 10 acres. In fact, it's really just kind of a review. Can you tell us how much the first appraisal was?
The first appraisal is $250,000, and this looks broader than the 10 acres. This looks at a regional rail system. Remember that discussion that we talked about with rail yards are essentially warehouses on defined shipping patterns, and so when you take one of those rail warehouses out, you have to analyze the network on what's the impact of not having that warehouse, what other areas have to be utilized. That's why it is one of the most detailed technical appraisals that we'll be involved in. So,
Okay, thank you.
yeah.
Councilor Jameson?
Mark, sorry to jump in on this, but you answered the question on the first appraisal was $250,000. That was the cost of the appraisal, wasn't the appraisal of the land.
Well, that's correct. We won't really have a defined appraisal till really late August. So with the combination of both these companies' work. Yeah.
Council?
Move for approval, Anderson.
Second, Rolfing.
Councilor Anderson Jr. has made a motion to approve this item, seconded by Councilor Rolfing. We've had good discussion. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Anderson.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
No.
That is passed 7-1. The next item is Sioux area Metro bus stop sign replacements. We're awarding a bid. Mr. Cooper.
Mike Cooper, Planning and Building Services. This bid award would allow the replacement of just over 400 existing small bus stops throughout the city. Sioux Area Metro, working with our marketing committee, with our Public Transit Advisory Board, came up with a new sign design, which is much larger, about 18 inches by 36 inches in size. It has multi-colors, it has specialty graphics that we would be replacing around the city. The reason that we're bidding these out is because our street department typically focuses more on the traditional traffic engineering signage, and this is really outside the scope of their expertise, or I should say their normal operations that they would be able to provide for us.
Yeah, Mike, I've been to the location where we make our signs, and wow, it seemed like they did a very good job. And we have signs throughout the city, thousands of signs. Now, I can understand, maybe having new bus signs, we might want some different features in these bus signs. But if we have a department that can't make those, then maybe we ought to think about, having the signs constructed in accordance with how our department can do it and save money.
Well, it really ties in with the branding that we've done on the buses themselves, and so it's all part of the package that we've done throughout the city to improve the marketing of Sioux Area Metro.
If I might comment.
Councilor Rolfing.
As part of the Transit Advisory Committee, we were really excited to see the design come through. We feel that one of the reasons that people may not be using the buses as much as they can is because they don't know where the bus stops are, or the bus stops, where they are. The sign that is up there right now is about the size of your monitor. And, we found that most people don't even know where those are. And we knew that we needed to increase the amount of visibility we had on bus stops so that more people would be aware of where they are and possibly write them. You don't see this in the larger cities. And you don't see small signs, you see big bus stop signs so that people know where they are, and that's going to be a good deal for the riding public of Sioux Falls. Secondly, I'm wondering if Councilor Stager's idea of increasing the amount of ability or downsizing the signs is just not going to do it. If they can't do it, it wouldn't make any sense to increase your ability to do it either, because you take more manpower, and it'd be like building church for Easter and Christmas. So I think this is probably a good deal, and would urge your vote in a positive manner on it.
Would you mind making a motion, Councilor Rolfing?
Yes, I would. I move to approve it.
Second, Erpenbach.
Councilor Rolfing has made a motion to approve this item, seconded by Councilor Erpenbach. Any roll call vote, please?
Council members Anderson.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
No.
That is passed 7-1. The final item Councilor Staggers would like us to discuss involves a mail courier van. We're awarding a bid. Ms. Clark?
Yes, thank you, Mayor and City Council. The fleet team provided this explanation, so if you allow me the latitude to just read it. This mail courier van is a replacement of a 2007 mail Grand Caravan that has 107,000 miles on it. This van delivers mail packages of all various sizes to city-affiliated buildings across the city. With the consideration of this replacement, they did do an ergonomic analysis just with the volume of paper that gets moved around, the weight of all that. And so there was rear lift gates and automatic sliding doors. It certainly looks like it's gone through the public bid process, and I would ask for your support.
Councilor?
Yeah, Mark, this van that we're using right now to deliver mail and packages and things like that, it's not a particularly strenuous job for a vehicle like that. No. With 107,000 miles. I mean, there's so many people today that have vehicles at 150,000. Why can't we extend the life of this vehicle longer?
We normally do, and the mayor and I actually talked about this the other day, where there are many vehicles that once the departments get done with them, they go into a surplus fleet, if you will. For example, Parks hires several hundred temporary employees in the summertime, and they typically just need a vehicle to pull a mower from point A to point B, and then it's parked there. And so a lot of those are vehicles that have far in excess of this many miles on them. I didn't ask what the surplus plan of this van was, but if it's still serviceable, I'm confident that they're going to repurpose it and use it. I think just with, we see the volume of paper that comes into City Hall well in excess of probably a ton per month. And when you start to think about all that paper gets moved around accordingly from the ergonomic analysis and to reduce the factor of injury, some of these things just make that job more palatable. So that's why it's being replaced from mileage, but also the ergonomic analysis.
Very good. Councilor Rolfing.
Yeah, one other just comment. This is, as I understand it now, this is a replacement van, so the money is really there to pay for it in the fleet.
That's correct.
And so this is just a bid so that we can approve the contract with Billion to get this done.
That's correct, and just like your capital plan that you normally focus on roads and parks, there's also an equipment plan that you see as well that goes through a 5-year replacement cycle, and it's a planning factor for you.
And then the lease situation, that kind of thing that they've got. Right.
That's right.
Okay.
Move
I'll move approval this time. You want a second?
Second,
Ken?
Anderson.
Thank you. Councilor Rolfing's made a motion to approve this item, seconded by Councilor Anderson Jr. Roll call vote, please.
Council members Anderson.
Yes.
Erickson. Yes. Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Kiley.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Daggers.
No.
That is passed 7-1. Item 15, please.
New 2013-14 retail malt beverage license for Murray 5G Inc., Five Guys Burgers and Fries, to be operated at 121 South Minnesota Avenue. Item 16, new 2013-14 retail malt beverage license for Macho Nacho LLC, Macho Nacho Mexican Grill, to be operated at 3308 East 10th Street, pending final inspections per Health and Fire. Item 17, new 2014 retail wine license for Macho Nacho LLC, Macho Nacho Mexican Grill, to be operated at 3308 East 10th Street, pending final inspections per Health and Fire. Item 18, new 2014-15 retail malt beverage license for Juan Padilla El Jalapeno Mexican Grill, to be operated at 2113 South Minnesota Avenue. Item 19, transfer of 2014 retail liquor license including Sunday sales certificate from SFLL LLC, City Center Lounge, 100 West 8th Street, to Lester Hospitality Sioux Falls LLC, Holiday Inn, Sioux Falls City Center, 100 West 8th Street. Item 20, transfer of 2014 retail wine license from Capel LLC, Acoustics, 196 East 6th Street, Suite 101, to the Market on Phillips LLC, the Market on Phillips, 196 East 6th Street, Suite 101, effective June 2nd, 2014, pending final inspection per Health. Item 21, transfer of 2013-14 retail malt beverage license from Capel LLC, Acoustics, 196 East 6th Street, Suite 101, to the Market on Phillips LLC, the Market on Phillips, 196 East 6th Street, Suite 101, effective June 2nd, 2014, pending final inspection per Health. Item 22, renewal of 2014-15 retail malt beverage license for the Market on Phillips LLC, the Market on Phillips, 196 East 6th Street, Suite 101, pending final inspection per Health. Item 23, transfer 2014 packaged liquor license from the Market on Phillips LLC, the Market on Phillips, 204 South Phillips Avenue, to the Market on Phillips LLC, the Market on Phillips, 196 East 6th Street, Suite 101, effective June 2nd, 2014, pending final inspection per Health. Item 24, transfer 2014 retail liquor license including Sunday sales certificate from WR Golf Management, Willow Run Golf Course, 8000 East Highway 42, to GL Management, LLC, Willow Run Golf Course, 8000 East Highway 42. Item 25, special one-day malt beverage and special one-day wine licenses for Sanford Health Foundation to be operated at Yankton Trail Park, 3901 South Minnesota Avenue, for the Sioux Glow 5K Run Walk on August 23, 2014. Item 26, special one-day malt beverage and special one-day wine licenses for Boys and Girls Club of the Sioux Empire, Inc., to be operated at 8th and Railroad Center, parking lot 401 East 8th Street, for the Grills Gone Wild fundraiser on May 24, 2014.
Jamie, welcome.
Good evening, Jamie Palmer with licensing. Item 15 is for a new malt license, which would allow the applicant to offer malt-based beverages to the menu. Item 16 and 17 are new malt and wine licenses for a new Mexican-style restaurant, which will be located on East 10th Street, which is where the former IHOP restaurant was located. Item 18 is a new malt license request for a Mexican-style restaurant, which opened last February. And during that time, he's had a lot of requests for beer, and so he's opted to try to add that to his menu. So if approved, that will allow him to do this. Item 19 is a transfer of a retail liquor license and Sunday sales due to a change of ownership. The location to be served with the license remains the same. Items 20 through 23 are transfers of a malt, wine, and packaged liquor licenses, as well as the renewal of the malt license. The transfers are due to the relocation of the Market on Phillips, which is moving to a space formerly occupied by Acoustic on East 6th Street. Item 24 is a transfer of a retail liquor license. Again, it's due to a change of ownership, and the location served by the license will remain the same. Items 25 and 26 are special one-day requests, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, the applicants are here in the audience if you have any questions for them.
Jamie, thank you. Council?
Move approval, Erpenbach.
Second.
Councilor Erpenbach's made a motion to approve these items, seconded by Councilor Rolfing. Councilor Anderson, Jr.
Mayor, I'm going to ask if we can remove 26 and vote on that separately.
Sure.
I'll have to step out on that one.
Councilor Anderson, Jr. would like to recuse himself on item 26. So with your permission, we'd like to vote on the other items.
I would amend my motion to remove item 26.
Very good. And Councilor Rolfing, would you second that?
Sure would.
Very good. We'll then vote on the first items other than 26. On the, okay. We'll amend the motion that Councilor, or are you just making a friendly amendment? Do we have to treat it as an amendment? All right there, Mr. President. We've now got an amendment on the main motion. Now let's vote on that first. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Anderson?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Kiley?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Thank you. The amendment is passed 8-0. Now, with your permission, let's vote on that amended main motion, which is every item except for item 26.
Council members Anderson?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Kiley?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
And that is passed 8-0. Now, separate discussion on item 26. Or any motions?
Move to approve item 26.
Second, Karski.
Councilor Erpenbach would like to make a motion to approve item 26, seconded by Councilor Karski. Roll call vote, please.
Council members Erickson?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Kiley?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Thank you. That is passed 7-0. Thank you. Item number 27.
Is a first reading an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at the northwest corner of West 12th Street and North Ellis Road from the RA1 Apartment Residential Low Density District to the RD1 Twin Home Duplex Residential Suburban and CN Conservation Districts. Petition number 2014-0402 and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is a petition from Steve Van Buskirk, representing Lakeside Development, LLC. This is a portion of the development known as the Cherry Lake Reserve, which the council has seen in previous meetings. It's on the northwest corner of 12th and Ellis Road. And this is kind of a carryover of the previous zoning ordinance going forward to with shaped places. When this was originally zoned, it provided for multifamily or single family or twin homes. It really left it open. And so now with the proposed action tonight, we would change it to allow specifically twin home development, which is what the developer is requesting. So that way there'll be no question in the future. To the west is going to be single family, and to the east is going to be office and retail. And then the conservation is a small area that would be added to the open space area surrounding the private lake. So again, this provides more specific reliability as far as what this property will be developed for future uses.
Thank you, Mike. Council?
Move for approval, Anderson.
Second, Karski. Counselor Anderson Jr. has made a motion to approve this item, seconded by Counselor Karski. A roll call vote, please.
This is
First reading. What we're doing is we're setting a date of hearing and second reading for Tuesday, June 3rd. I'm sorry. Should be more clear. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Anderson.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
yes.
Thank you. That is passed 8-0. Item 28.
Is a first reading an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at West 85th Street and South Pinewood Avenue from the RS Single Family Residential Suburban District to the CN Conservation District, petition number 2014-0403, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
Let's go to the next item. Okay, we have a little technical issue with our slides, but I'll keep going. The applicant is Steve Van Buskirk, representing MVP Properties. This is located on the south side of West 85th Street and east of South High Cross Trail. It's part of the area known as Pinewood Addition, and we're going to be changing about 6 acres, that's the wrong slide, for a future detention pond. And this is part of the Pinewood Addition. The developer has gotten a little farther along with their engineering plans, and so now they're going to change this property from residential to conservation, which would allow the construction of the detention pond. And I just want to say a little bit more that we do put a lot of effort into looking at these development plans and looking at the drainage issues and the drainage standards. So here's an example where the developer has brought in a large residential subdivision, and now after going through a little more review process, we've determined the size, the design of this land area that's going to be used for future detention.
Thanks, Mike. And folks, this is a first reading, and so what we'll do is we'll just discuss it at that, and then at some point in time we'll have a motion on a second reading. Councilor Karski?
Mike, is this the land that we just annexed off of?
Yes.
It is,
Yep.
okay.
We annexed it and we zoned it for single-family residential.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Mock?
I wish we had the art or the graphics, because I'm looking at it on Sire, and the map is showing it kind of an L shape. Is that, am I looking at the right thing?
It's on the west and the south sides.
Okay, will that entire thing be drainage then?
Yes. It's about 6 acres of land.
I just want to remind this council that this area of land was part of a conversation that we had as we talked about adding at 85th in Minnesota. We talked about the flooding and the issues that happened in that neighborhood, and I'm just really glad to see this developer stepping up. This is a huge step forward. That neighborhood has drainage issues. This will help tremendously. When we get to that point, I hope you'll all vote yes. This is a good one.
We'll make sure we get the slide issue fixed for second reading.
Mike, any comments on that? With
No,
Councilor
again,
Buck?
I think it's important for people to know how much effort does it go into meeting these current storm drainage requirements.
You know, if I might, Mr.
Please.
Mayor, this council and this staff got beat up pretty bad over that particular issue in terms of where that water goes in that neighborhood. And one of the property owners very near to this area was talking about this development coming in and how they were bringing in dirt and how it was just going to be horrible for him, blah, blah, blah. I think it's important for us to understand and to highlight that staff has worked really hard on this, that this is something that is being fixed and will be better for this neighborhood in the future. And I'm just really pleased to be able to see that and to follow it through and to see that these things are happening in a positive way.
Thank you, Councilor.
Move to set the second reading for Tuesday, June 3rd, 2014.
Second, Erpenbach.
Thank you. Councilor Anderson Jr. would like to set a date of hearing, second reading for Tuesday, June 3rd, and it was seconded by Councilor Erpenbach. A roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Anderson? Erickson?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Kylie?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Thank you. That is passed 8-0. Item 29.
Nope.
First reading an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at the northwest corner of West 54th Street and North Northview Avenue from the C4 Commercial Regional District to the I-1 Light Industrial District, petition number 2014-0405, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval by a 6-2 vote.
The applicant is Mark Mickelson, representing Jansmick Land Investments, LLC. This property is northwest of West 54th Street and north of Northview Avenue. This property was zoned probably about 7 years ago as part of an overall development. At the time, we were working with the applicant to decide whether it should be industrial or commercial, and the decision was made at that time to zone the land closer to the interstate, commercial, and then the property closer to Westport would be light industrial. The property that has been zoned industrial has been developing fairly robustly over the years. The commercial land is still vacant, and so the applicant is now looking at changing this area, which is about just under 20 acres of land, to allow distribution and warehouse uses as well as light manufacturing. The first building that they're looking at developing will be in the very southeast corner of this property, adjacent to West 54th Street and Northview Avenue. It would be about a 53 to 55,000 square foot building that would include a combination of office, warehouse, distribution, and light manufacturing. At the Planning Commission hearing, we had testimony from the residential property owners just to the west of this. They're located on the east side of the interstate. Their residential subdivision is currently outside of our city limits. They're not annexed. They expressed concerns about this proposed rezoning, including testimony that they would be losing their view of the backyard, concerns about their privacy, concerns about increased traffic, parking lots, potential for crime, noise and smell from production, and potential water contamination. So those were the testimonies that we heard at the Planning Commission meeting. The staff had recommended approval of this, and of course the Planning Commission has well with a split vote. We believe that this is a good use for this property, and with the standards that any developer would have to follow, there would not be any kind of groundwater contamination potentially. And even with the current zoning of commercial, there could be parking lots, there could be buildings. With this light industrial zoning, there would have to be at least a minimum of a 30-foot yard buffer between the existing residential uses and any future development. So there would be a minimum buffer yard of 30 feet that would be a landscape berm. So that's a quick overview of what came out of the Planning Commission process.
Thanks, Mike. Councilor Karski.
Probably more of a question for the second reading, but I'm going to ask it today. How many lots are there? How many residential lots?
There are 3 homes, I believe.
3?
3 homes.
So they must be fairly good-sized lots then.
Yeah, they're on acreages.
Acreages, okay.
Yep. And they're not hooked up to city water or sewer.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Kiley.
Mike, can you once again explain, is the buffer the same between the C1 and C4, or the I1 and the C4?
Yeah, the buffer would be 30 feet, which would be more than what we would see typically for commercial. So that again, that's a reflection of our new zoning ordinance requirements. Of it's not typically that you would have residential next to industrial, but if you do, the compatibility that we put together says there's a minimum of this 30-foot buffer yard. And the proposed development that would be on the southeast corner would be well beyond that setback. We're hoping that maybe we can get a proposed site plan that we can show for second reading.
Councilor Jameson.
Mike, the intersection of 60th, I believe, is getting reworked in the future, and a service road being put to the north. Do you know if a service road that ends there at that little, will that connect up to 60th Street in their new design?
Yeah, I think if we have a larger exhibit, that will go to the north. Is that the one you're looking at, Counselor? Are you looking at the one that's owned by the interstate?
Yeah, the one on the west side.
No, that will not change.
That won't change,
Yeah,
okay.
there's a cul-de-sac on the north end of that, and that will not change.
So the increased traffic that would occur would come from down Northview Way? whatever
Yes.
that- Right, and so, I'm just, did you understand what the neighbors' concerns were about increased traffic? Why that would be?
Not completely, but again, I think our backyard is open, we've got a nice view. We're concerned about something being developed there.
Very good, okay, thank you.
Councilor Rolfing.
Now I forgot what I was going to say. I was listening to what Councilor Jamerson had to, so I'll pass by. I almost had it. That's okay. Come back.
Happens to me all the time.
Ask me later on.
Man, Councilor Jamerson was way too interesting.
It's been a long day, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Councilor, would you be willing to set a date of hearing and second reading for Tuesday, June 3rd for this item?
I would love to do that.
Thank you.
Second, Karski.
And it has been seconded. Good discussion. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Anderson.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Kiley.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
That is passed 8-0. Item 30.
It's a first reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property north of West 69th Street and west of Southeastern Avenue from the RS Single Family Residential, Suburban, and CN Conservation Districts to the RA3 Apartment Residential High Density District, petition number 2014-0406, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
The applicant is Jim Dunham, representing 69th Street Land Holdings, LLC. This is just over 5 acres of land on the north side of East 69th Street, adjacent to the railroad overpass. When this was originally zoned under a previous landowner, it was going to be primarily single-family residential. This proposal would allow multifamily apartments to go on this property. And we've been working not only with this applicant, but also adjacent landowners. And I think if we have another exhibit that we can put up on the screen, what we're working on is making a better transition. With this rezoning, the land to the north will be potentially changing to what we call RD, which would allow twin homes or fourplexes. So we're going to continue to work with the landowner to the south to make sure that we have these good transitions so that we don't end up with apartments next to single family. And we'll present a little better graphic of that also at the second reading with the applicant. So that's some of the planning discussions that we have with these. And again, this is another example of looking at the new zoning districts with our shape places.
Thanks, Mike. Council, would anybody be willing to set a date of hearing and second reading for Tuesday, June 3rd for this item?
So moved, Jamison.
Second, Anderson.
Councilor Jameson, thank you. And Councilor Anderson Jr., thank you. It has been seconded, and a roll call vote, please.
Council members Anderson. Erickson. Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Kiley.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Thank you. That is passed 8-0. Item 31.
A resolution advising and giving consent to the appointment of members to certain citizen boards.
Would you mind reading just the names and the board, please?
Okay. David Meyer, Teresa Miller, and Rose Mooring, all for the Board of Health. Aaron Holtgren, Business Improvement District Board, Main Street. Joan Haas, Yesenia Pagan Rosario for Commission on Human Relations. Deb Aiden, Sarah Jo Jorgensen, both for the Disability Awareness Commission. Tracy Johnson, James Keller for Falls Community Health Governing Board. James Wiederich for the Sioux Falls Housing and Redevelopment Commission. Vandana Barity for Visual Arts Commission. Dr. Susan Hassler and Emily Paulson for the Washington Pavilion Management, Inc. Board of Directors. And my apologies if I messed up your name.
Thank you. Thank you.
Move for approval, Anderson.
Second, Erpenbach.
Councilor Anderson Jr., thanks for making that motion to approve these folks, and Councilor Bach has seconded those. Roll call vote, please.
Council members Anderson, Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Kiley.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Thank you. That is passed 8-0. Council, I'm now going to turn over the chair to Vice Chair Dean Karski. I wish you all a very, very good night. Councilor Karski.
Okay, agenda item 32.
Election of the City Council Chair.
Mr. Chairman, Vice Chairman, I would like to nominate Dean Karski for Chair of the Council.
Second Anderson.
Discussion. Roll call vote, please.
Council members Anderson.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Kiley.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Item 33.
Election of City Council Vice Chair.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilor
I would like to nominate Kenny Anderson for Vice Chair of the Council.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Staggers and Councilor Offing. Discussion. Roll call vote, please.
Council members Anderson.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Kiley.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
And item number 34.
Election of fourth member to Council Operations Committee.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilor Kiley.
I would like to nominate Councilor Rolfing to serve on the Operations Committee.
Second Anderson.
Thank you, Councilor Anderson. Discussion. Roll call vote, please.
Council members Anderson. Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Kiley.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Thank you, councilors. Congratulations to our leadership and our operations committee. We always stay busy, and it's great that we could accomplish this tonight. Thank you for everybody's votes and attention.
Move to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by
Second
Councilor
Anderson.
and Councilor Anderson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.